Riches begin in the mind long before they appear in the bank. That's the reality most people miss. They wait for money to arrive before they act like someone worthy of wealth. But that's not how success works. Wealth doesn't show up for those who sit and hope. It shows up for those who prepare, who act and who live with purpose long before the rewards come in. Today I'm going to walk you through a powerful mindset shift. How to act rich before you get rich. This doesn't mean spending recklessly or pretending to live a lifestyle you haven't earned. No. It means building the daily discipline, the mindset, and the habits of someone who's already successful. Because the truth is, if you can't lead yourself when you have little, you won't know how to lead your life when you have a lot. Acting rich means thinking with vision, walking with confidence, speaking with clarity, and managing your life like it matters, because it does. Your future success is being built right now, not tomorrow. And the way you carry yourself today determines the level you rise to tomorrow. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I show you the powerful principles that will shape how you think, live, and lead before the money comes. Let's dive in. Number 1. Think wealthy. Even if you're struggling, you don't need a single dollar in your pocket to start thinking like someone who's wealthy. In fact, some of the most successful people in the world started developing a wealthy mindset when they had absolutely nothing. Because the mind is where wealth truly begins. Not in income, not in assets, but in the way you see yourself and your future. When you're struggling, it's easy to think small, to focus only on survival, to tell yourself, I just need to get by. But that mindset keeps you exactly where you are. Thinking wealthy means thinking with vision, with purpose, and with the belief that your current situation is temporary, but your potential is permanent. It means looking at your bank account and saying, this is not my final chapter. It means seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. Take Oprah Winfrey as an example. She was born into poverty, raised in hardship, and faced circumstances that could have crushed her spirit. But she didn't think like a poor person. She thought like someone who had something valuable to offer. She believed in growth, in learning, in purpose, and that belief became the foundation for everything she built. Now, you may not have a talk show empire or massive platform, but you have something just as powerful, your thoughts. The thoughts you feed today will shape the life you live tomorrow. So ask yourself, are you thinking like someone who's preparing for more, or someone who's settling for less? Wealthy thinkers ask better questions. Instead of why me, they ask what can I learn? Instead of how will I survive, they ask how can I grow from this? That shift in thinking changes everything. It influences the books you read, the people you listen to, the choices you make, and how you carry yourself each day. Thinking wealthy isn't about pretending, it's about preparing. It's about mentally stepping into the future you're building, so that when opportunities come, you're not overwhelmed, you're ready. And that readiness starts with belief. So even if things are tight right now, even if you're grinding, sacrificing, and trying to figure it all out, refuse to think like a victim. Refuse to think small. Start thinking like someone who's going somewhere. Like someone who's capable of creating, earning, and living at a higher level. Because once you train your mind to think wealthy, your actions will begin to align. And when your actions align with that belief, it's only a matter of time before your reality catches up. Think wealthy now, so you're prepared when wealth arrives. Number 2. Speak the language of confidence and clarity. What comes out of your mouth is either building your future or burying it. The words you speak shape how you think, how others see you, and how the world responds to you. If you want to act rich before you get rich, you have to start by changing your language. Not to impress people, but to align yourself with where you're going. Most people speak with fear, hesitation, or doubt. They say things like, I'm not lucky, or that'll never happen for someone like me. But those aren't just words, they're agreements. Agreements with limitations. And every time you repeat them, you reinforce them. You train your brain to expect less, to play small, to live within imaginary boundaries. Now compare that to how confident people speak. They don't have all the answers. They're not perfect, but they speak with clarity. They say things like, I'm working toward it, or I'm figuring it out. They declare their vision, even if it hasn't fully shown up yet. That kind of speech is powerful because it reflects belief, not in current circumstances, but in future capability. Think about Marcus, a young UPS driver in Detroit. He didn't grow up around money. In fact, he was used to people mocking ambition. But Marcus made a decision. He would only speak like someone who had a future. Instead of saying, I'm just a delivery guy, he started saying, I'm learning business every day while I work. I'm building something on the side. I'm preparing for more. That shift in language changed how he saw himself. It changed how others saw him. And a few years later, he had built his own successful courier company. All because he changed the way he talked about himself and his path. The way you speak matters. When you talk with confidence, you begin to reprogram your self-image. You stop sounding like someone who's hoping, and you start sounding like someone who's becoming. And that shift draws people in. It opens doors. it creates momentum. Now, this doesn't mean you need to be loud or flashy. Speaking confidently isn't about volume, it's about conviction. Speak with intention. Be clear about what you want, where you're going, and who you're becoming. Replace vague, passive phrases with focused, intentional ones. Don't say maybe one day. Say it's just a matter of time. Don't say I can't. Say I haven't figured it out yet, but I will. And most importantly, stop speaking from your limitations. Start speaking from your potential. Even if no one believes in you yet, speak like you believe in yourself, because your words are seeds, and if you plant them with purpose, they'll grow into something powerful. So from this point on, speak like a builder. Speak like someone who knows exactly where they're going. Because when you speak with clarity and confidence, your world starts to shift in your favor. Not because magic happens, but because you do. Number 3, build a presence that commands respect. Before wealth shows up in your bank account, it shows up in how you carry yourself. Presence isn't about being loud, flashy, or wearing designer clothes. It's about how you walk into a room, how you shake someone's hand, how you look people in the eye. It's about posture, tone, and energy. People can feel when you're serious about your life, and they can sense when you're not. When you carry yourself with intention, people treat you differently. You don't need to announce your dreams, your presence speaks for you. You walk with a quiet confidence, not because everything's perfect, but because you've already decided who you're becoming, and that decision shapes everything about the way you show up in the world. Look at Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks. Before he built a global brand, he was pitching ideas to investors who didn't take him seriously at first. He wasn't born into wealth, and he wasn't polished when he started. But he learned quickly that if he didn't carry himself with belief, no one else would. He practiced his presentations. He refined his tone. He made sure his presence communicated confidence, even when his ideas were still just visions on paper. Eventually, that energy won people over, and the rest is history. Now think about your own life. How are you presenting yourself on a daily basis? Are you showing up like someone who's going somewhere? Or are you letting insecurity and uncertainty speak louder than your intentions? You don't need a stage to build presence. You need awareness. Awareness of your body language, your tone, your attitude, and the signals you send before you ever say a word. Start with the basics. Stand up straight. Look people in the eye when you speak. Keep your voice steady. Smile with purpose, not just politeness. Dress in a way that reflects self-respect, not price tags. When you walk into a room, walk like you belong there, even if you're the least known person there. Why? Because if you don't carry yourself with purpose, the world will never take you seriously. Presence also shows up in how you treat others. Respect isn't just something you earn, it's something you give. Treat people kindly, listen fully, and be intentional with your words. That kind of character builds presence that's deeper than appearance. It creates trust, and trust creates opportunities. You might not be rich yet, but you can show up with the same presence as someone who's already achieved success. Because presence doesn't cost money, it costs commitment. Commitment to becoming the best version of yourself, starting now, not someday. Not when things are easier, right now. So from this day forward, carry yourself with strength, lead with energy, speak with certainty. Build a presence that tells the world, I may not have it all yet, but I'm becoming someone who can handle it all when it arrives. Number 4, adopt the daily habits of future millionaires. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. That's the difference between people who talk about success and those who live it. If you want to act rich before you get rich, you've got to start developing the habits that wealthy people live by before the money ever arrives. Success doesn't start with the big wins. It starts with the small decisions. How you spend your mornings, how you manage your time, how you respond to setbacks. And the people who build real wealth, they're not waiting for motivation. They've built systems. They've trained themselves to show up every day, whether they feel like it or not. Let me tell you about Clara. She was a part-time waitress in Atlanta, juggling long shifts and barely making rent. But Clara had a vision. She wanted to start her own online apparel store. She didn't wait until she had extra time or extra money. She began by waking up an hour earlier each morning. She used that time to study digital marketing, plan designs, and set goals. On her breaks at work, she listened to podcasts on business strategy. At night, she'd write product descriptions and respond to emails. Within 2 years, she went from scraping by to running her own profitable business, all because she built millionaire habits before the money showed up. That's how it works. Wealthy people build their success long before anyone sees it. They read instead of scroll. They plan instead of procrastinate. They use calendars, write lists, track progress, and stay consistent. They don't hope for growth. They schedule it. You don't need to have millions in your bank account to start living like a person of value. You just need to take control of your day. Start by mastering your morning. Don't hit snooze. Don't jump straight into distractions. Begin your day with clarity. Journal your goals. Read something that sharpens your thinking. Move your body and align your energy. Then look at your time like it's your greatest currency, because it is. Wealthy people guard their time the way others guard their money. They know how to say no. They focus on what matters most. And when challenges show up, and they always do, don't break your rhythm. Adjust your plan if needed, but don't abandon your habits. The road to success isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. Every small action compounds. Every good habit builds another. And before long, you'll look back and realize you've become someone completely different. Someone disciplined, focused, and unstoppable. So if you want the life, build the habits. Don't wait for the conditions to improve. Improve yourself. Start today. Build structure. Build discipline, and build momentum. Because the moment you start living like your future matters, your future will start to take shape. And that's how millionaires are made. One habit at a time. Number 5. Set bold, precise, long-term goals. If you're serious about acting rich before you get rich, you can't afford to drift through life hoping things work out. You need a target. You need a vision. You need clear, bold, long-term goals that stretch your thinking and pull you forward. Wealthy people don't stumble into success. They plan for it, prepare for it, and move toward it with intention every single day. Here's the truth. Vague goals produce vague results. Saying, I want to be successful, or I want to be rich someday, isn't enough. That's wishful thinking, not a plan. You need specifics. You need to know what success looks like, what it feels like, what it requires from you, and when you expect to reach it. A goal should have structure. It should challenge you. It should demand a better version of you to emerge. Think about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Long before he became a bodybuilding legend, an actor, or a governor, he had a clear vision of where he was headed. As a teenager in Austria, he wrote down specific goals: win Mr. Olympia, become a Hollywood star, move to America. He didn't just dream, he planned. He tracked his progress. He worked with laser focus. And because his goals were bold and clear, he always knew what he was working toward. That's the kind of mindset you need to adopt. Stop setting goals based on your current circumstances, and start setting them based on your future potential. Yes, it might feel uncomfortable. Yes, it might feel out of reach. But that's the point. Goals aren't meant to be safe. They're meant to stretch you. They're meant to wake you up with purpose and push you to do things you once thought you couldn't. So ask yourself, what do I truly want 10 years from now? What kind of life do I want to build? How do I want to feel when I wake up each morning? What kind of work do I want to be doing? What kind of relationships do I want to have? Don't just answer those questions in your head. Write them down. Make them real. Review them every day. Let those goals direct your energy. And once your big goals are clear, break them down. Create milestones. Set monthly and weekly targets. Track your progress. Adjust as needed, but never shrink the goal to fit your comfort zone. Instead, grow into it. Step by step, choice by choice. Become the kind of person who can carry the weight of that vision. The moment you set bold, specific goals, you begin to live differently. You start saying no to distractions. You start managing your time better. You start taking yourself more seriously. And when you combine vision with action, there's no limit to what you can build. Acting rich isn't about fake status. It's about future clarity. Set your goals high, aim with precision, and pursue them like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Number 6. Develop a calm and strategic relationship with money. If you want to build lasting wealth, the first thing you must do is shift your emotional relationship with money. Most people live in fear of it. They stress about it, chase it, avoid looking at it, or spend it recklessly to feel better. But if you truly want to act rich before you get rich, you need to approach money with calm, clarity, and strategy. Money is a tool. That's all it is. It's not your identity. It's not your value. It's not your source of confidence or your reason to panic. And the sooner you begin to see it that way, the stronger your financial foundation becomes, no matter how much or how little you currently have. Look at Warren Buffett. Even in his early days when he wasn't wealthy yet, he treated money with discipline and patience. He didn't chase trends. He didn't make impulsive decisions. He studied. He planned. He made every dollar serve a purpose. That's not luck. That's a mindset. That's emotional control. You need to train yourself the same way. Because how you treat $100 is exactly how you'll treat $10,000 or $1 million. If you're careless with small amounts, more money won't fix that. It'll just amplify the chaos. But if you build discipline while you have little, you'll be trusted with more. That's the principle most people miss. So how do you build a calm relationship with money? First, stop reacting emotionally. Don't spend out of stress or boredom. Don't avoid your finances out of fear. Look at your numbers, good or bad, and get honest. Create a simple budget. Know what's coming in and what's going out. When something unexpected happens, don't panic. Pause. Ask yourself, what's the smartest move right now? Not the easiest, not the most comfortable, the smartest. Second, focus on your long-term plan. You may not be earning much yet, but you can still save a percentage. You can still pay off a little debt. You can still avoid unnecessary expenses. Every small step counts. And when you make money decisions with strategy, not emotion, you start thinking like someone who's already financially strong. And finally, remember this. Money responds to structure. If you don't manage it, it will manage you. So build simple systems. Use envelopes, apps, notebooks, whatever helps you stay in control. You don't need to be an expert, but you do need to be consistent. Because one day the money will come. And when it does, the question won't be, do I deserve it? It'll be, am I ready to handle it? Start preparing now. Build the mindset. Build the systems. Build the calm. Because real wealth isn't loud. It's steady. It's quiet confidence. And that starts with how you handle every dollar, right where you are. Number 7. Surround yourself with people who think bigger. One of the fastest ways to elevate your life is to upgrade your circle. If you're surrounded by people who think small, talk small, and live small, you'll start shrinking yourself without even realizing it. But when you're around people who dream big, act bold, and move with purpose, something inside you begins to rise. If you want to act rich before you get rich, start by placing yourself around people who think like wealth builders, because energy is contagious. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with, not just in habits, but in expectations, language, and belief. If everyone around you is complaining, blaming, and settling, you'll eventually start to do the same. Not because you want to, but because we're all influenced by our environment. That's why choosing your circle is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Let me introduce you to Ray, a young barber from the south side of Chicago. Ray was talented, hardworking, and had big dreams, but he was stuck in a cycle of conversations that never went anywhere. Every night the same people would talk about how life was unfair and how success was only for the lucky. But Ray didn't want that life. He wanted more. So he found a local group of business-minded professionals who met every Saturday. He was the youngest and least experienced in the room, but he kept showing up, listening, asking questions. Over time, he started thinking differently. He changed how he managed his money, how he treated his business, and how he set goals. Within 5 years, Ray owned 2 barbershops and had become a mentor himself. That's the power of being in the right room. You don't need to be the smartest person there. In fact, it's better if you're not. You want to be around people who stretch you, people who make you ask better questions, people who won't let you settle for average. Now maybe you're thinking, but I don't know anyone like that. That's okay. Start with access. Read books by successful thinkers. Watch interviews. Join online communities. Go to local events, even if you feel out of place. It's not about being noticed, it's about being near the kind of energy that fuels your growth. And if you can't immediately change your environment, change how you engage with it. Speak differently. Challenge conversations that keep you stuck. Limit the time you spend around people who drain your vision. You don't need to cut everyone off. You just need to start rising, even if it means rising alone at first. Because once you shift your circle, your standards shift, your thinking sharpens, your pace increases, and your future accelerates. The people around you either water your growth or poison it. So choose wisely. You're not just building a better life, you're building a better identity. And that process becomes 10 times faster when you're surrounded by others doing the same. Think bigger and walk with people who do too. Number 8. Learn the skills that build real value. You want to act rich before you get rich? Then start by mastering the skills that rich people rely on every single day. Because wealth doesn't come from wishing, it comes from being valuable. And value is created through skill. Not luck, not looks, not talk. Skill. Most people spend their days doing just enough to get by. They learn what they have to, and then they stop growing. But those who build wealth, they become students for life. They don't just work hard, they work smart. They identify the high-impact skills that solve problems, lead teams, make sales, close deals, communicate powerfully, and move people into action. Then they develop those skills until they become second nature. Take Barbara Corcoran, for example. She started with a $1,000 loan and no formal education in business. But what she did have was the hunger to learn. She studied how to market, how to sell, how to read people, and how to position herself in a crowded real estate market. That hunger for skill, not status, is what made her a multimillionaire. Now, you don't need to be in real estate or on TV to do the same. You just need to ask yourself, what are the most valuable skills in the market today? Communication, sales, marketing, negotiation, leadership, problem solving. These are the tools that turn average into exceptional. These are the skills that allow you to generate income, open doors, and create opportunities even if you're starting from zero. Start building them right where you are. Practice communicating clearly at your job. Learn how to pitch your ideas. Study copywriting. Take a free course on public speaking. Read books on influence. Watch how great leaders carry themselves. You don't need a degree to start. You need commitment. And here's the secret. Most people won't do this. They'll keep waiting for someone to give them a raise or hand them an opportunity. But those who act rich, they invest in skills before they get the reward. They understand that becoming more valuable is how you earn more, do more, and become more. Even if you're not getting paid much right now, ask yourself, am I becoming a person of value? Am I learning the skills that will make me impossible to ignore in the future? Because that's what wealthy people do. They work on themselves harder than they work on their job. And over time, the world starts to notice. So stop chasing quick wins. Start developing deep skills. Master one, then move to the next. Stack them like bricks, and before long, you'll have a foundation so strong that wealth can't help but find its way to you. You may not be rich today, but you can learn like someone who is. And when you do that consistently, the money comes, not by accident, but because you became the kind of person it's drawn to. Build your value, and everything else follows. Number 9. Live below your means. Dream above your circumstances. You don't have to spend like you're rich to act like you're rich. In fact, the most financially successful people often live well below their means, not because they're cheap, but because they're smart. They understand that real wealth isn't about what you show off, it's about what you build. And if you want to act rich before the money comes, the key is learning how to manage your lifestyle while expanding your vision. There's a dangerous trap out there, and it's called looking rich. The flashy car, the designer clothes, the constant upgrades. Not because you need them, but because you want to be seen a certain way. But here's the truth. Many of the people showing off the most are the ones drowning in debt behind the scenes. They're wearing their money instead of building it. That's not wealth. That's pressure wrapped in packaging. Look at Ingvar Kamprad, the founder of IKEA. He built one of the most successful furniture empires in the world. Yet he lived simply. He drove an old car, flew economy, and stayed in modest hotels. Not because he couldn't afford luxury, but because he stayed grounded in what mattered. He wasn't focused on appearances, he was focused on legacy. Now compare that to someone making $5,000 a month, but spending $6,000 to impress people. That's not acting rich, that's living poor with style. Don't fall for that trap. You can live humbly and still dream boldly. You can keep your expenses low and keep your vision high. And that combination? That's powerful. Living below your means gives you flexibility. It allows you to save, invest, and take strategic risks. It gives you peace of mind instead of financial stress. It keeps you from being desperate and allows you to move with purpose. And all of this creates the space you need to build something great. At the same time, don't let your current budget shrink your future vision. Just because you're in a small apartment now doesn't mean you can't picture yourself in a house you own one day. Just because you're riding the bus doesn't mean you can't one day drive what you want. Don't let your surroundings limit your imagination. Use them as fuel. Use them as the reason you go harder. This mindset takes strength. It takes maturity. But it's what separates those who build lasting wealth from those who chase approval. So live smart, save aggressively, invest wisely, say no to temporary status so you can say yes to long-term freedom. And while you're doing that, never stop dreaming. Visualize the life you want. Set bold goals. Let your imagination pull you forward while your discipline keeps you grounded. That balance, low ego, high ambition is what keeps you rising without falling. Remember, you don't have to look rich to become rich. You just have to live intentionally, stay focused, and dream bigger than your bills. That's the formula for real, lasting success. Number 10. Move like someone with a mission. There's something unmistakable about a person on a mission. You can feel it in the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they handle their time. They're not rushing around frantically, but they're never idle either. They move with focus. They speak with intention. They show up like every moment matters. If you want to act rich before the money comes, you need to start moving like someone with a clear mission. Most people drift through life reacting to whatever happens. They wait for the perfect opportunity, for the right mood, for someone to give them a push. But the people who rise long before the rewards show up move with purpose. They don't wait to be chosen. They choose themselves. They don't need permission. They've already decided where they're going. Think about Tasha, a single mom in Texas who was working 2 jobs just to keep things afloat. Every day she woke up before the sun, not just to survive, but to build. While others were scrolling, she was studying. While others were sleeping in, she was laying bricks. One habit, one task, one choice at a time. Her energy shifted the moment she started seeing her struggle as a season, not a sentence. She didn't just work, she moved like someone who was creating something bigger. Today she runs her own business from home. Not because someone handed it to her, but because she moved like she was already responsible for her future. That's what mission looks like. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's disciplined, it's driven. And most importantly, it's consistent. When you live with that kind of energy, people notice. Opportunities notice. And more importantly, you notice. You begin to trust yourself. You stop second guessing. You wake up with a reason to get out of bed, even when it's hard. When you have a mission, you don't let distractions pull you off track. You're not just busy, you're productive. You don't chase everything. You focus on the few things that matter most. Your life stops being a series of random efforts and becomes a deliberate journey towards something meaningful. So what's your mission? What are you building? What future are you preparing for? You don't need to have every detail figured out, but you need a direction, a reason, a target. Because when you know where you're going, you carry yourself differently. You stop wasting time. You stop making excuses. You start stepping with conviction. Acting rich isn't about trying to impress. It's about moving with intention. Like someone who knows what they're building. Like someone who refuses to settle. Like someone who doesn't wait for things to happen. They make them happen. So walk with purpose, speak with vision, and show up like you've already been hired by your future. Because when you move like someone on a mission, you don't just change your pace, you change your path. Number 11. Visualize your wealth with absolute clarity. Before you can live it, you have to see it. That's the unspoken rule of every major success story. Wealth begins in the mind long before it shows up in reality. If you want to act rich before you get rich, you have to train your imagination to work for you, not against you. That means creating a clear, vivid, powerful picture of the life you want and rehearsing it daily until your actions catch up to your vision. Most people never do this. They think visualization is just daydreaming or fantasy, but it's not. It's a strategy. The most successful people on the planet have one thing in common. They see their future before it becomes real. They walk through it in their mind. They speak it out loud. They feel it emotionally. And eventually they live it physically. Take Will Smith, for example. Long before he was a global icon, he practiced affirmations and visualization. He imagined himself as a top actor. He studied how successful people thought, talked, and worked. He said it over and over again, "I'm going to be the biggest movie star in the world." It sounded crazy to everyone else, but to him, it was already real. He believed it before he became it. That's the level of clarity you need. So ask yourself, what does your wealthy life look like? Be specific. Don't just say, "I want to be successful." Say, "I wake up at 6 a.m. in a house I own, work on my business from a quiet home office, have financial peace, take vacations without guilt, and give generously without fear." The more detailed your vision, the more powerful your actions will become. Now here's where most people go wrong. They only visualize occasionally, but this is a daily discipline. You need to sit with your vision, feel it, smell it, see the numbers in your bank account. Hear the conversations you'll have when you're living that life. Visualize not just the end result, but the process too. The early mornings, the tough decisions, the growth, the breakthroughs. That's what makes it real. When you start doing this, your brain begins to believe it's possible. And once your mind believes it, your body follows. You'll make different decisions. You'll say no to things that waste your time. You'll walk with more confidence, speak with more power, and stay focused when others are distracted. Because you're not just chasing a dream, you're aligning with a reality that already lives in your mind. Visualization doesn't cost a cent, but it pays back in results, in energy, and in clarity. So carve out time, close your eyes, see it, own it, and then take action like it's already yours. Because once you believe in the picture, you'll start painting it in real life, one choice at a time. That's how wealth is built, in the mind first, and then in the world. Number 12. Handle every dollar like you're already wealthy. You don't need $1 million to act like someone who has it. What you need is discipline, responsibility, and a mindset that says, "I respect what I have, even if it's not much yet." That's how wealth starts, not with the amount, but with the attitude. If you want to act rich before you get rich, you must treat every dollar like it matters, because it does. Here's the truth. Money doesn't change you. It reveals you. If you're careless with $100, you'll be careless with 100,000. If you ignore your finances when they're small, you'll be overwhelmed when they grow. But if you build financial discipline now, if you give every dollar a job, make intentional choices, and manage your resources like a professional, you won't just attract more money. You'll know how to keep it, multiply it, and use it wisely. Think about Chris Gardner. Before he became a millionaire stockbroker and author of The Pursuit of Happiness, he was homeless with a young son. He didn't have much, but he treated what he had with care. He tracked every cent. He refused to make excuses. He made tough financial decisions with long-term vision. That kind of discipline, even in the darkest season of his life, built the foundation for his future success. That's the same mindset you need to adopt. Don't wait for some magical payday to start being financially wise. Start now. Track your expenses. Know where your money is going. Avoid the impulse to spend just because you feel like you deserve it. Deserve doesn't build wealth. Discipline does. Build a budget, stick to it, and learn to delay gratification. Every time you choose responsibility over impulse, you're sending a message to the universe. I'm ready for more. Wealthy people don't throw money around carelessly. They're intentional. They invest in growth, not trends. They focus on long-term impact, not short-term flash. and you can do the same, even if you're working a modest job or building something from the ground up. It's not about how much you have, it's about how you handle what you have. So start now. Pay attention. Learn about saving, investing, and building multiple streams of income. Read books, watch videos, ask questions. Financial literacy isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And every step you take in managing your money with care brings you closer to the life you're aiming for. Acting rich before you're rich means being a good steward. It means being trustworthy with little, so you can be trusted with more. It's not just about getting paid, it's about being prepared. So handle your money like someone who's already successful. Because when you respect the small, the big will come. And when it does, you won't be scrambling to learn how to manage it. You'll already know, you'll already be ready. And that readiness, that's what separates people who get rich from those who stay rich. You don't have to wait for the money to show up before you start living like someone who's going places. In fact, the people who build real wealth, real success, and real fulfillment don't wait at all. They act early. They act rich long before the money comes. Not rich in arrogance, not rich in material flash, but rich in discipline, rich in belief, rich in behavior. That's the secret. Everything begins inside: your thoughts, your words, your habits, your vision. Wealth is never just about dollars. It's about identity. When you start thinking like someone who can be trusted with success, you naturally start aligning your actions with that belief. You speak with clarity. You move with purpose. You respect your time. You handle your resources wisely. And before long, you're not pretending, you're becoming. We've walked through 12 powerful shifts. Each one is a piece of the blueprint. Each one helps you build a foundation strong enough to carry real success. Because wealth that lasts isn't built overnight. And it's not built by accident. It's built by people who decide to show up early for their future. People who act in faith. People who prepare before the spotlight, before the promotion, before the breakthrough. So don't wait for proof. Don't wait for applause. Start acting rich now. In mindset, in habits, in relationships, in strategy. Build it before the world believes it. Because when you do, the world will eventually catch up to who you already decided to become. Remember, acting rich is not about faking it. It's about aligning your current behavior with your future identity. You are not waiting, you are preparing. You are not hoping, you are building. And if you stay consistent, if you stay focused, if you act rich in character long before the cash arrives, the money won't be the reward, it'll just be the result. Your time is coming. But the preparation starts today. Walk like it's already yours. Let's go.